Welcome back. All right, so the 4 games in the NHL tonight are done. Entertaining games, interesting results, and don't take anybody lightly in the National Hockey League after the trade deadline. Not that I think anybody did, but of course, you guys can let me know in the comments section below if you think there was a team that might have been coasting a little bit or what you think. Because sometimes we just see the underdog end up outperforming the favorite, right? So, starting things off, the New Jersey Devils in against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And what's interesting is this set the table for tonight. None of these games were blowouts, despite the fact that three of the four matchups we had tonight have produced blowout victories before tonight. So it's Dawes versus Mrazek. They were wearing the Bieber jerseys. Bieber and his buddies were wearing the inside-out version. And again, if I'm just as a heads up, if I'm ever playing street hockey and there's a couple of guys wearing those jerseys inside out, I'm gonna try to get them distracted so I can take the outside fight strips that are just tagging down the fight straps and attach them together. I'm gonna try. So anyway, because I think that'd be really funny. Those fight straps can really hold on. So Engvall has a net drive that's saved. Marner has a shot that's tipped wide. Tavares prevents a Devils goal. The Devils almost had one. Tavares prevented it there. Matthews is denied from in close. The shots are 7-1 Toronto at 7 minutes. They came out, they were playing very, very well. Bastian has a shot that's saved and held. Subban hits the side of the net when he had an opportunity. There's a near miss for Marner on a setup by Matthews. Hall is denied in the final minute. So after the first period, it is scoreless. Second period, early power play for the Leafs. A really aggressive penalty kill by the Devils, and they do kill that off. And then the Devils get a power play of their own that they score on. It's Severson from Bratt and Hischier at 5:03. So Bratt has a 5-game point scoring streak. Nice three-way pass and a nice bounce for the Devils to get the opening goal. Leafs get another power play. That's killed off. The Devils press after that. Mrazek with some saves. Shots are 8-3 for the Devils with 9.5 minutes left. So the Devils came out with a lot of jump in that second period. Bunting tips one wide. As the Leafs would press, the Devils get a power play. There's a shorthanded chance for Kerfoot. He can't bury one, but Mikheyev does. He scores the shorthanded marker from Kerfoot at 12:30. It's a fast break, and he dekes around Dawes. It's one of those goals that you watch and you think, wow, he made that look really easy, when it's not. It is not easy to get a goaltender to bite that hard on your move. So, Hischier would end up scoring right after the power play ends from Hughes and Hamilton at 13:56. So that restores the lead for New Jersey, but the lead doesn't last. Marner would tie it from Matthews and Bunting at 14:54. Devils try to answer. Spets is then denied twice. The Leafs press. Devils with the 3-on-2. That's broken up. Bunting was denied on a rush opportunity, and Dawes holds on. So very entertaining second period. It's 2-2 after that. Third period, Giordano ends up going to the box, and then they decide he didn't do anything, because he didn't. So this is something we've started to see in games where a referee will call a penalty, and the other officials come over and go, no. And so that's nullified. We also had 2 early icings that were called off. So if you were upset at the officiating in this one, I really can't blame you. Nylander can't bury as the Leafs press. Blackwell has a rush chance. That's saved. Shots are 4-2 for the Leafs at 7 minutes. Bunting with a rush chance. That was saved. The Leafs then press. Bratt with a net drive. That's defended. Some pushing and shoving happens after a save by Mrazek. With 7:37 left, there is a 4-minute power play for the Devils. And this is the turning point of the game. Marner is denied on a rush chance, shorthanded. And then Kerfoot, who couldn't bury one in the second shorthanded, he does in the third. He gets the second shorthanded goal of the game for Toronto at 15:18. So special teams really sink New Jersey, even though they're the only team that scored on the power play, because they also allowed 2 shorthanded goals. So the Devils call a timeout. We then get 28 seconds of 4-on-4. We get a power play for Toronto after that, because that shorthanded goal, of course, doesn't mean the power play's over. There's a near miss for Nylander. Everything's all killed off. They pull the goaltender with 1 minute and 35 seconds left. They're not able to tie it. So Toronto wins this one 3-2, and much like the stylish black jerseys, which look a lot like if the San Jose Stealth had a child with the Tampa Bay Lightning black jersey and the Leafs were present somehow, that's what you end up with. But as has been stated, Toronto's colors did become Tampa's colors not that long ago. And so maybe it's fair that then Toronto ends up borrowing Tampa's third design in some way. So Toronto goes to 40-18-5. I don't think anybody would have cared what they were wearing as long as they win the game. New Jersey drops to 23, 36, and 5. Your shots. New Jersey was outshot in the first, 11-3, but both teams had 11 shots in the second, and Toronto outshoots them 9-8 in the third. Final shots 31-22 for Toronto. Power plays, New Jersey 1 for 4, but they allowed the 2 shorthanded goals. Toronto 0 for 3. Hits 33-28 for New Jersey. Dawes saves 28 out of 31. Mrazek saves 20 out of 22. So pretty solid game all around. New Jersey put in as much effort as could be expected of them. And in the end, Toronto's just, they wanted those shorthanded goals a little bit more than New Jersey wanted the power play goals. That's kind of your difference maker in this game when it's only a 1-goal game. All right, next up, Pittsburgh and Buffalo. No funny jerseys in this one, although I'm wearing Buffalo. I'm wearing the reverse retro, of course, with the Buffalo head on the shoulder, which I understand we'll be seeing back on the front of a jersey next year. Good call, Buffalo. So DeSmith versus Anderson in this one, and they had a nice ceremony for Anderson's 300th win before this game, so that was nice. Asplin's denied on a turnover. Pettersson has a blast that's saved as the Penguins press. Matheson has a net feed that's blocked. The Sabres, a 3-on-2 misfires for them. The shots are 3-1 for the Sabres at 7.5 minutes. And I have to say this, the Sabres are playing really well right now. Absolutely, they're playing very well. They're out of the bottom row on the power rankings. I can't see them being back in the bottom row when we get to Saturday. So spoiler alert. So Hinostroza can't bury one from in close. There's a power play for the Sabres. The Pens, really strong penalty kill. They don't let the Sabres set up. Sabres get another power play that was killed off. However, the momentum eventually works for Buffalo. Thompson scores from Samuelsson at 17-15. He roofed it under the bar. Tage Thompson continues what's been a fantastic year for him. Pens try to answer, but Craig Anderson was pretty sharp all the way through. Hinostroza with a net feed, that's cleared out. With 1:17 left, the Sabres get called for too many men on the ice, so the Pens get a power play. They don't score by the end of the first, but early in the second, they get the power play goal. It's Crosby from Gensel and Rust at 26 seconds. That one's scored on a rush. Tuck then fires one wide. There's a near miss for Thompson. Gergensons was denied. Buffalo pressuring, getting a lot of opportunities. Thompson has a blast that deflects out. Rust then had a tip that was saved, and the Sabres clear that out. At the halfway mark, the shots are 8-6 for Buffalo. Pittsburgh with the only goal in the period to that point. Raquel prevents the Sabres goal, but he doesn't prevent the one for Gergensons. He scores from Okposo at 15:56. And I thought the score was fair. The better team to this point in the game definitely was the Buffalo Sabres. But Malkin scores from Rust at 18:46. It pinballs in off of Jokiharju and Anderson. So it ends up in the back of the net, but you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky. So there you go. That ties the game at 2. Sabres get a power play with 1:05 left. Dahlin's denied in the final seconds. We go over to the third period. Shortly after the power play ends, it's Thompson from Tuck and Skinner at 1 minute and 1 second. And that puts Buffalo back in the lead. They're up 3-2. So Penguins never had a lead in this one. Pens press at 4.5 minutes. Shots are 2 apiece at 6 minutes. Olofsson can't bury one from in close. Rodriguez shaken up. Ends up being kind of slow leaving the ice on that play. Sabres press at 8 minutes. Heinen has a rush chance that he fires high. Gensel misses as the Pens are pressuring. 6:09 left. There's a power play for the Penguins, and they score on it. It's Letang on the power play from Malkin and Crosby at 15:04. Olofsson has a chance that deflects out. We end up going to overtime. The overtime. Thompson cycles one back, and the Sabres end up going offside on that play, so you always kind of want to go just straight in and at least have the communication with your teammates. But Raquel has a rush chance. He fires high. The next Raquel shot was saved. Gensel can't bury one, and then the Penguins end up going offside shortly after that. Crosby was robbed before the overtime's done, but at the end of the overtime, it's still 3-3. We have to go to a shootout. Buffalo makes it count. It's Thompson and Tuck that score the goals. Your final score is 4-3. It's a shootout victory for Buffalo. They go to 23, 33, and 8 with the victory. The Pittsburgh Penguins 39, 16, and 10 with the shootout loss for them. So they do get a point out of this, but they really wanted the 2 points to put the pressure on Carolina, who are now 2 points ahead of them instead of 1. Would have been 1 if they won this one. So the shots favor Buffalo almost the whole way through. 11-9 in the first, 12-8 in the second, and 9-7 in the third. In the overtime, Pittsburgh gets 2 shots. Buffalo gets 1. Final shots 33-26 for Buffalo. Power plays, Pittsburgh was perfect, 2 for 2. Buffalo 0 for 3. The hits 14-4 for Pittsburgh. Buffalo's not an overly physical team. DeSmith, 30 saves on 33 shots. Anderson saves 23 out of 26. Both goalies were good. And in the end, Buffalo gets the 2 points. And it feels like Buffalo's, creating some excitement with the fans right now. This team looks good and exciting, and I hope it carries over into next year. But remember last year's Senators, they had a really good finish. It doesn't always translate into the next season, but it's nice to have optimism, right? Isn't it nice right now as a Buffalo fan to watch a game and not say, well, I wonder how they're going to lose this one. They've avoided those 11, 12 game losing streaks this year. So, I mean, it's a small bar to cross, but at least they seem to be clearing the bar right now, right? All right, low expectations can be good. It's how I found my wife. She just at the point where, well, you'll be fine, you'll do. Best news you hear as a man in your 40s. All right, next up, Vancouver in against Colorado. Now, of course, I use the Finn magnet here, right, because it's after the trade deadline. It kind of feels like the Canucks are not likely to make it, so I thought, why not put the fun magnet up there? I can use I have a few different Finn magnets I can use. So they're in against the Colorado Avalanche tonight. I expected very little. It was Halak versus Kemper. Halak has been pulled in his last 2 starts. His numbers were atrocious coming into this one. Jaro Halak played the best game he's played in 2 seasons. I can say that as a Bruins fan. I don't think he had a game this solid last year, and I know he hasn't had a game this solid in Vancouver. You got to think some of that might be anger at the fact that he's been on the bench as much as he has. But whatever it is, it worked. So Besser and Horvat are denied back-to-back early. The Canucks have a 3-on-2 that's defended. The shots are 3 apiece at 6 minutes. Canucks get a power play. We end up then going to 4-on-4. Kadri's denied. Halak holds on. Newhook, fans on one, and everything gets killed off. McKinnon has a tip saved as the Avs were pressing. OEL goes after Cogliano for a knee on Podkolzin, and even though that makes it 4-on-4 rather than a power play for the Canucks, good on OEL. It was a dangerous looking knee, and Podkolzin stays in the game, but still, it was rough looking. Now I'm not saying there was anything heinous behind it. I don't think Department of Player Safety gets involved. I'm just glad to see a Canuck standing up for another Canuck, because that's been a conversation point with Canuck fans for a long time, that they don't necessarily stand up for themselves. So Garland has a wraparound that's saved, but after the first period, it is scoreless. Second period, early jump for the Canucks. Obe-Kubel has a rush chance that's saved. The Avs press at 3.5 minutes. Myers was without a stick during that. We end up with a post for Rantanen during that. Nichushkin can't bury one, just lots of Avalanche chances. It felt like it was only a matter of time before the dam bursts and Avalanche are going to get 4. Manson has a shot that's saved and held. There's a press by the Avs at 9.5 minutes, and I put right here, it looks like a power play. The Canucks are pinned down. It looks like it's going to turn. We've watched the Avs do this time and time again this year, right? This is part of the reason why they get so many power plays, comparatively speaking, with their opponents. They always have the puck. The team that's getting penalized is usually going to be the team that doesn't have the puck. Colorado usually has the puck. Obe-Kubel's denied. Halak holds a Rantanen shot. Really sharp in this game. I think that's understating it. The Avs get a power play, which had been lethal versus the Canucks coming into this game. Not as lethal tonight. So it's killed off, but then Quinn Hughes, who had just taken the first penalty, decides to take another. Then there's an OEL shorthanded rush. That was defended. It's killed off. And 0 for 3, the Colorado Avalanche, and it's still scoreless after 2. Third period. Garland has a turnover chance that's kicked aside, but Brock Besser scores his 19th of the year from Pettersson at 1:23. And then a little under 2 minutes later, Miller scores from Pearson at 3:15. And of course, if Miller scores, the Canucks have a very good record when he gets a goal. And that makes it 2-0. And it was scored 2-on-1, and the puck was loose in the crease, and Miller buries it. And I was terrified the Avs were going to clear it, go the other way, and score. Because again, it's the Avs. I've seen this movie before. Avs had momentum after they scored when Podkolzin fires one wide and takes a penalty out of frustration, I think. So yeah, the penalty goes to the Canucks, and on their 4th power play, the Avs score. It's Kadri from McKinnon at 6:15, so exactly 3 minutes after Miller gets his goal, the Avs answer. And yeah, they had the momentum. Rantanen's denied as the Avs press. The shots are 7-6 in their favor at the half. McDermott flattens Highmore. Highmore goes out for concussion protocol. There was some debate about whether or not it should have been a high hit. Highmore's shorter than McDermott. I think McDermott threw a clean hit. It's just Highmore's shorter than he is. So again, I don't think anything comes out of that. But yeah, so it was a rough looking hit. on Highmore. Hopefully he's okay. The Avs get their 5th power play, to which Bruce Boudreau screamed darn from the bench. If you know the gif, you know the gif. I didn't scream darn. But yeah, he was pretty animated. He was pretty animated about that penalty. Didn't seem to agree with it at all. Because the Canucks only had 1 power play, and this was the 5th for the Avs. But again, this is because they're such a puck control team that they force the other team to take penalties. So Ranton and Campberry won. The Canucks cleared out. It's killed off. It looked dangerous, but the Canucks kill it off. Canucks are stuck on 6 shots at this point. Post for Myers. Kemper holds on to it. So a post doesn't count as a shot. Pettersson fires one high. And it looked like the Canucks were trying to kill the clock, which is dangerous in Colorado. That's a dangerous way to go about things in Denver. Garland hits the side of the net on a rush. Goalie pull with 1:40 seconds left. 58.9 seconds left. The Canucks ice it. I think it was Garland that missed the empty net there. The Avs call a timeout. Then there's an empty net goal missed by Pearson, but eventually they hit the empty net. It's Horvat from Garland and Pearson at 19:42. So Vancouver, who didn't sell at the deadline, not really. They do get rid of a couple pieces, get a couple back. They end up winning this one 3-1. They're still in the hunt. They're 31-26-8 on the season. For the Avs, the only, I believe, the 4th loss at home in regulation all season. They're 45-14-5. The shots, 11-9 Colorado in the first, 12-9 Colorado in the second, 10-9 Colorado in the third. Final shots, 33-27 for the Avs. Power plays, Vancouver 0 for 1, Colorado 1 for 5. The hits, 26-14 for Colorado. Halak saves 32 out of 33. Kemper saves 24 out of 26. Both goalies were very good, but this was Halak's best game, period. This was his best game this year and last year. I would say you have to go back at least 2 years to find a game that would be anywhere near what we had tonight from Jaro Halak. So he should be angry more often if it is in fact the anger that fueled him tonight. All right, next up. Chicago and Anaheim. So this was the final game of the night, and it was delayed because this game was on, and of course it's back-to-back on TNT. The back-to-backs on TNT mean that you're going to get a game backed up. So this is a 7 o'clock start. No, it's a 7:20 start. So it's fine. It's fine. I just wonder, are they going to do this in the playoffs too? Because that could get really obnoxious if the first game goes into triple overtime. So yeah, they really can't do that in the playoffs. It's Lankinen versus Gibson. Who's going to tell them? So no Troy Terry in the lineup for Anaheim, which really hurts. 30-goal scorer out of the lineup for a team that struggles to score goals. Ducks sole shot in the game 3 minutes in. It was that awe-inspiring of a game to start out for two teams that are playing out the string, right? Lafferty's denied in close. The Ducks with a 4-on-2. Caleb Jones saves a goal there. There's a post for Strome. The Hawks with some pressure. And some more pressure draws them a power play, and they score on it as Taylor Radish. So the Erie Otters connection between Radish, Strome, and DeBrincat has been realized, and it works. Strome and Kane with the assists at 10-11, and Taylor Radish roofed it. Radish has been very prominent since getting to Chicago. Maybe that was a good trade for both teams. Carrick, though, would answer from Robinson at 13:40. It was a nice pass by Robinson and a one-timer for Carrick, who's doing both the job of fighting and scoring goals apparently right now. That was only the 3rd shot for Anaheim, too. So the Ducks get a power play. There's a shorthanded net drive by Entwistle that's saved. That power play is killed off. So after the first period, it's 1-1. Second period. Shots are 3-0 Ducks at 3.5 minutes. Grant can't bury one as the Ducks press. There's another Ducks press at 5 minutes. Lafferty has a rush chance that won't go. The Hawks press at 9 minutes. Power play then for the Hawks, and they score on it. It's Patrick Kane from DeBrincat and Seth Jones at 11:37. The Hawks go back to the power play. That one's killed off. And in the last minute, Zegras has a shot that deflects out. He had a pretty good shift there, just couldn't get anything on the net. So going to the third, it's 2-1 in favor of Chicago. Early jump for the Hawks. Kane is denied on a fast break. Lafferty was robbed on a rush chance as well. I agree with the comment of who's that guy, who's the new guy kind of thing. Like, Lafferty looked great tonight. And honestly, Lafferty, since he got to Chicago, has been playing very, very well. I would be kind of surprised if Chicago doesn't keep him around next year. Ducks, they ice it, and basically it's all they can do. They're under so much pressure. The first 5 minutes is almost all Chicago. Strome can't bury one, then the Ducks get a rush chance. Drysdale gets the first shot for the Ducks at 7:29. And 8.5 minutes into the period, the shots are 6-1 for Chicago. So really, those shots do tell the story. Chicago was playing much better. We then get a fight between Reese Johnson and Benoit. Benoit takes a hit, doesn't appreciate it, so they drop the gloves. Henrique's denied then on a turnover. Doc can't bury one from in close. And then Carrick ties it, his first ever 2-goal game in the National Hockey League from Henrique and Zegras at 13-28. And it was a set play off of a face-off win by Carrick. So nice play there. That does tie the game up. Mayhew fires one wide on a rush, but then it is Strome that answers from Stillman and Kane at 16-10. It was a nice shot pass by Stillman that gets it to Strome, who puts it in the net and gives Chicago back the lead. We then had a crossbar for Zegras as he tries to answer. Goalie pull with 2:03 left. That allows DeBrincat to hit the empty net from Taves and McCabe at 18:57. Your final score is 4-2 for Chicago. They go to 23, 32, and 9. For the first time, I think the first time this season, Anaheim drops below NHL 500 at 27, 28, and 11. There was a nice interview they had with Pat Verbeek talking about the team going forward. Now, we wanted to see them, their compete level, and he still felt they were in a playoff chase, but the moves he made would insinuate that maybe not early in the playoff chase, but he did say that he was sad that Dodonov wasn't going to join the team. So your shots in this one, 9-4 Chicago in the first, 14-7 Anaheim in the second, 12-11 Chicago in the third. Final shots, 29-28 Anaheim. Power play, Chicago 2 for 3. Anaheim 0 for 1. The hits, 23-21 for the Ducks. Lankinen saves 27 out of 29. Gibson saves 24 out of 27, which doesn't tell you how well Gibson played and how long he kept this one close. That being said, let me know your thoughts regarding these games in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through and you just happen upon this video. Tomorrow night's a 10 game night, so it's going to be a busy one. Looking forward to reporting on that. Looking forward to seeing you there. It's always interesting to me after the trade deadline. There's always a lot more traffic on the channel. Hoping that sticks around as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. The games are more important. I think some of that traffic will stick around. And if it does, thank you so much. Thanks for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.